What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Farzy Show. Sorry for the delay, but welcome in. Farzy Show brought to you by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Here at the Steven Singer Studios, Derek Barnett is back, ladies and gentlemen. How excited are y'all's people? How excited are you? Derek Barnett is back. 2-year deal. I first saw it and I went, yeah, that's about right. Like, it just didn't feel like they weren't going to bring him back. Now they can just work on some of the other guys, maybe bring back a safety, maybe make sure Rodney McLeod's all locked up and ready to go. I'm going to give you my full reaction to Derek Barnett in just a second, and I will also include many reactions from you, the Philadelphia Eagle fan base, who had the most beautiful things to say in response to this tweet yesterday from the Philadelphia Eagles, who actually had the ballsy move of announcing it on social media, saying that Derek Barnett was in fact coming back on a 2-year deal. A whole roster move. Eagles have agreed. Wow. The cojones on you, Eagles, for putting that out in social media and allowing the fan base to just just type whatever the hell they wanted in response to it. And oh man, do we got some gems for you. Oh, Eagles fans did not disappoint. As I quote tweeted one nice lady who was pregnant, she had an interesting thing to say. I just said, Philadelphia Eagles fans never change. And I'll have that reaction for you in just a second. Congratulations. This is coming once again from a Temple guy. Congratulations to the Villanova Wildcats and Jay Wright for making it into their region's championship yet again. They have won their Sweet 16 game against Michigan. They won, and they advanced to take on not Arizona, who got bounced last night, but Houston. It'll be a 4-2 seed matchup in the NCAA tournament in their region for Villanova. Colin Gillespie, Archbishop Wood graduate, shout out, had a huge three with about a minute 30 left, or excuse me, 2 minutes left in the game that helped the Wildcats go up to by 9, their largest lead of the game. They were able to hold on to that despite 4 turnovers in the final 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the game from Villanova. It was a great game played throughout by Nova. They had 3 turnovers in the entire first half. They had 7 total in the game, I want to say. And in the final 3:30, turned the ball over 4 times. That was the only thing that made me go, is Nova going to do that? They're going to. Now, they were in the bonus, so they were able to shoot. They're a great free throw shooting team. They were able to get to the line, shoot, get points that way, and keep Michigan at bay. It was never a huge concern for Nova, but it certainly made it interesting with the amount of turnovers. Michigan wasn't able to cash in on it, so they get bounced. Juwan Howard's out. Phil Martelli, nice to see you again, but see you later. Jay Wright gets into the Elite Eight yet again. And every time they've done that, especially over the last 2 times, they have won the national championship. So Villanova, best of luck to you guys who tip off now Saturday against Houston, who once again beat top-seeded Arizona. So congratulations to the Villanova Wildcats for their victory. And what do you know? They keep on winning. Good for them. Jermaine Samuels, by the way, 21 points, I believe. Well, 22 points 22 points in the win. So there you go. We also have some Flyers conversation to get into, both on the Flyers ice as well as now the Florida Panthers ice, with a little recap of what Claude Giroux had going on. We also got some 76ers conversation to go, as the 76ers will take on the LA Clippers at a 10:30 tip-off on the West Coast, as they stayed right there in Los Angeles. They take on a tough Clippers team, no Kawhi, Paul George, no, not so much. And they beat the 76ers 2 months ago when they came to South Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. They won 102-101. If you remember that game, Joel Embiid still had 40 points in that loss. So hopefully we'll be able to avenge that 1-point loss coming up in just a second. Here's my little theory on everything with the Philadelphia Eagles, folks. Here's my little theory. Just tell me if you think this is just bonkers, okay? I think that the Eagles, looking at their team right now, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, and saying, basically, because this is the message they've given us, the Eagles have told us to this point they were Haason Reddick and a couple of first-round draft picks away from being a legit Super Bowl contender. That's what they've told us so far this offseason. Oh, you know what we needed? Oh, we needed Haason Reddick, and we need these 3 first-round draft picks. Now, again, I have said many times over, and I can't say enough, the Eagles will not make 3 first-round selections in the upcoming draft. My prediction is they trade one of those picks to next year, not to move up in this draft, but I think they trade one of the picks to move to next year, kind of hedge their bets. That's my overall prediction. But this creepy and, quite frankly, just flat out scary thought jumped into my brain yesterday upon the news of Derek Barnett re-signing on a 2-year deal with the Eagles. Okay, so let's just take what the Eagles have told us by their actions so far. Their actions have been, not reports, but what they have done. They have re-signed Derek Barnett. They have the 3 first-round picks, and they have brought in Haason Reddick. Everybody else, every other move has been bringing back their own guys. That's been it. They have told you basically Alex Singleton was like a on-field and locker room cancer, and they needed to get that poison out of the locker room, and now he's in Denver. They didn't bring him back. Okay, so he's not here anymore. Interesting. They brought in Haason Reddick, re-signed Derek Barnett. Everyone else, including Fletcher Cox, they reworked his deal. Everybody else has just been a re-signing. So by telling us that you are only this far away from being that competitive makes me think, okay, as much as we'd like to look at the Eagles and be like, well, they're dumb. Howie Roseman doesn't know what the hell he's doing, whatever. I think they have an idea of what they're doing. So if this is all they have done so far, then that means, and bringing in Pascal. All right, so they brought in a veteran wide receiver, all right? Now they're rumored to be after Devontae Parker. They've been linked to Devontae Parker, who I don't think would be the worst deal in the world. 6'3" wide receiver. He had his best year 4 years ago where he had his only 1,000-yard season. But in terms of being a guy to come in here in the middle part of his career, I guess, or really the latter stages of his career for a wide receiver, 6'3" frame, he could be a guy to be like an Alshon Jeffrey was, go up and get it type of guy. Jalen Hurts can certainly use that. Doesn't have nearly the same type of body frame that everybody else has in this receiving core. So at least it'd be a little bit different. At least it would be a veteran coming in here to try to help this squad. I'm not totally opposed to that. But back to what they have done, to what they've actually done. Derek Barnett, 3 first-round picks on tap, more or less, and bringing us on running. They can't look at this and say, this is as close. This is what we needed. This is what we needed to get back to a Super Bowl contending team. So it makes me think that they got something bigger on the horizon. And I'm not necessarily thinking that is along the lines of Russell Wilson would have been if they would have brought him in here. I don't think that's going to be along the lines of an Aaron Rodgers, bring him in here and see what happened there. I don't think it's going to be along the lines of even a Deshaun Watson. I'll bring him here. That'll be a big move. That'll be what we need to do. My thought yesterday, and still what I'm considering, is that a bigger thing is yet to fall. And I think it's going to happen in the draft. If I have to bet, I'm still betting money that the Eagles will flip a pick to next year and they won't move up. They might move up a couple of spots, but they won't use the 2 first-round picks to do it. Like, they're not going to use the 1 first-round pick to trade it next year and then move up in the draft. They could, but I don't think that's happening. I still think they make 2 selections in the first round is what I'm telling you. I don't think they move up drastically, but I am now more on the side of they're taking a quarterback in the draft than I have ever been. It's the only thing that makes sense when you look at what they have done so far this offseason. They have obviously told you that they're not going to just rest on their laurels with the reports that have come out regarding the Eagles being interested in Russell Wilson and Russell Wilson just not being interested in coming to Philadelphia. And that news came out right around the same time Howie Roseman was trying to tell you, no, we got complete confidence in Jalen Hurts. That's our guy, Nick Sirianni. You know what? Jalen Hurts loves ball, and he wants to play in Philadelphia. We love him, and okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go shoot some hoops on a Fisher-Price hoop. That's what happened at the NFL Combine. I don't think the Eagles are stopping there. I don't think the Eagles were just looking at a veteran quarterback to come in here to Philadelphia and take things over and be the complete change. I think what's really interesting about all this, again, when you look at what the Eagles have done and not just what's reported, like that Russell Wilson deal, for instance, or Russell Wilson interest, for instance, I think what they have done so far is wild. Derek Barnett, Haason Reddick, and let's not forget the other thing, aside from Fletcher Cox rework deal, Howie Roseman 3-year contract extension. Now, what did I say at the time? That it takes 3 years to judge a draft, right? Well, it could also take 3 years to judge a new quarterback. And that could be the direction that the Eagles are going. I am now more on the side of they are going to take even more of a serious look at a Willis, at a Coral, at a obviously Kenny Pickett. I am more on the side of that than I have ever been now, considering what the Eagles have done to this point. And the Derek Barnett thing wasn't something they jumped at doing. It's not like the Fletcher Cox deal where they had to rework that, release him, bring him back. No. That was something that was been on the play. This was a reactionary deal. And although I think they always wanted to bring him back, the fact that this is kind of on the tail end of the free agency and the trades and all that stuff, where it's kind of on the tail end of everything, it's not something they're jumping at the forefront to do, like Haason Reddick. Got to get him here, got to get it done, got to rework the deal with Fletcher Cox, even if it means releasing him, that's fine. This is something that makes me think, all right, they're now done as far as big trades go. Yeah, there's going to be interest in Devontae Parker. That's something that could fall in. They got time to do that. No one's banging down the door of the Miami Dolphins to make a deal happen as soon as possible. That's not happening. But when it comes to the team right now, I look at the fact that the draft is now a little bit more than a month away. Howie Roseman has signed that extension, which means he's going to be here, which means he's going to get to evaluate this draft going forward, not just for now actually making the picks, but evaluating it after the fact. Oh, it takes 3 years to do the draft. Well, he's got 3 years on his deal. Will they be going out there and getting a quarterback? This is certainly the way it seems, because it's been, for the most part, a very quiet offseason. I'm not saying this is what I would do. I'm saying I think this is the direction the Eagles are going. For the most part, you can't tell me that the Eagles looked at this situation and went, if we just get Haason Reddick, if we just bring back all our guys and rework the deal for Fletcher Cox and use our 3 first-round picks, oh, man, we're going to be right there contending for a Super Bowl. No, that's not what it feels like at all. They needed to bolster their defense. They did that by bringing in Reddick. They really like Davion Taylor. They like Sean Bradley as well for their linebackers. We'll see what happens. TJ Edwards, we'll see what happens as that goes forward. But they bolstered their defense by bringing in a guy like Reddick. That was one of the biggest needs they had. We all wanted them to make defensive acquisitions, whether that be through the draft, free agency, trades, whatever it might be. They did that with Haason Reddick. They still don't look at Jalen Hurts as a guy that they drafted to be a backup as the franchise quarterback. They can say all the nice things in the world. That's what they have to say because they can't tip their hand. They can't show their cards. They can't put them on the table when it's too early. But when it comes to an overall deal for a quarterback, I'm now more on the side I ever have been for the Eagles to actually draft a quarterback in this upcoming NFL draft than I ever thought I would be. I thought if it wasn't one of the leaders, if it wasn't one of the big names, whatever, the Watson or Wilson or Roger, no. If it wasn't any of those guys, they were going to ride it out with Hurts, which I still want them to do. But I still think they're looking, or I now look at it as if they're saying, we can make a deal now for a quarterback and get a guy that will be a bigger difference maker than Jalen Hurts will be in the upcoming draft. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just making my prediction. I am now closer to that than I have ever been. Howie Roseman needs to hit on this. He knows he needs to hit on this to get his next contract. The fact that he even has 3 years to evaluate this, when we could look at it after year one and go, well, that was terrible. That was a wasted draft. Really glad the Eagles took the time to acquire those those 3 first-round picks in order to really hit home runs here. No. Instead, they're really glad they acquired them to waste our time. Bust. And let's not forget the other thing, and this is very important in all walks of life, unfortunately. It's always good to be the boss's guy. And Derek Barnett is the boss's guy. Derek Barnett is a first-round pick by Howie Roseman. The guy he missed on, well, not missed because he was taken before him, was Haason Reddick, and they went out and got him. Good job. Way to be. All right, good job. But when it comes to the actual deal for Derek Barnett, you don't want to quit on this guy already, Howie. He's your guy. That's another reason why he's back. Despite the fact that Derek Barnett has the most penalties in the NFL by a defensive end. That was last year. His 8 penalties, I was shocked it was only 8, were the most in the NFL by a defensive end. Way to be, fellas. Way to be. Has your line of thinking, has your thought process changed as the offseason has gone on like mine has? Because I never thought I'd be at this point. I thought once the 3 names were off the board, more or less, that was it. The Eagles were going to say, all right, that's it. We got Jalen Hurts, see what he does for one more year, flip that first-round pick to next year, and we're good to go. But now with taking Kenny Pickett out to dinner the night before his pro day, to paying close attention to this draft class of quarterbacks that isn't supposed to be that great anyway, I now think the Eagles are in a position right now where they could say, no, we're going to take a quarterback. I never thought I'd be here, but here I am. Let's get to some of the great stuff that we have seen so far from the Derek Barnett deal. If you haven't seen it yet, again, here's the tweet that the Eagles actually had the cojones to put out last night when they re-signed Derek Barnett. And without Without further ado, let's get to some of your fine responses, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, before we get into this part of it, let me tell you about the Farzy Show being brought to you by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not ready for retirement, what are you doing? Get ready for it with my friend Mike Seibert, retirement income certified professional. He's a financial advisor for Eagles and Sixers fans only. His firm, Destination Retirement LLC, is a full-service planning firm and a partner of 1847 Financial. Mike helps clients with their accumulation and distribution years. What's the difference? A lot. Have you figured out how much you'll need per month when you retire? How much your retirement income you would like guaranteed no matter what? Well, call Mike Seibert. Hit him at destinationretirement.com. Do you want to protect any assets from downside market risk? And do you have a written plan in place? If you have questions, if you need answers, if you have assets of $250,000 or more, Mike will create a written plan to help offset your retirement expenses free of charge using software from Retirement Analyzer. He usually charges around $1,999 for this, so act now. Your plan will show you how much you can offset your retirement expenses and what to do in a volatile market and help you minimize risk and taxes. With over 30 years of experience, Mike is committed to helping Eagles and Sixers fans only getting to and through retirement. You can reach Mike at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. Or visit destinationretirement.com. That's destinationretirement.com. Click on Find Out at the top of the page and fill out the questionnaire to see how prepared you are for retirement. You can sign up for this newsletter as well at destinationretirement.com. He'll get back to you and let you know how he can help. And as always, Mike Seibert likes to say, go Birds, and play the song. Hopefully we'll be playing the song after tonight. 10:30 tip-off against the Clippers. Come on. I hate Steven Singer. Steven Singer, Jewelers, in the corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. Make sure you do what I do. When it comes to buying jewelry, trust one man, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. Now, what's the perfect price, you say? Well, when you walk into another jeweler, a lot of times what they do is they mark things way up just to mark it down in front of you. That's negotiating. That's haggling. Nobody's comfortable doing that. So at Steven Singer Jewelers, he made the perfect price. He doesn't mark things way up to make you feel like you're getting a deal. But all right, I'll take $100 off. No. You're not getting nickel and dimed at Steven Singer Jewelers. The guy next to you, the lady next to you is paying exactly what you're paying, not less, because they too are getting the perfect price at the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. Look at all the beautiful inventory that they have. Beautiful diamond engagement rings, ready for love diamond engagement rings, diamond necklaces, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond stud earrings. Oh my goodness, my wife loves hers. Anita diamond studs, absolutely perfect, beautiful. At Steven Singer Jewelers. So do what I do. Head to the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row. IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price, the perfect price every day at Steven Singer Jewelers. Here it is yesterday, folks, and we'll get your reactions to this as well in the comments. Good morning to everybody in the comments. I see you guys chatting already. Here's what we got for you. First comment that I saw that jumped out to me was just the simple one. You're kidding. How excited is Philadelphia? This is Philadelphia's reaction, okay? Philadelphia's reaction to the Eagles announcing Derek Barnett. Put out the tweet yesterday. First comment, you're kidding, from Robert. Robert, they're not kidding. This is a real thing. It's not April Fool's, although it is just around the corner. It's the real deal. Then we got the pictures coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Brace yourself. I mentioned the most flags by a defensive end in the NFL last season. It's from the future. Here's Derek Barnett's 2022 and 2023 highlight tape. Ty, I could not agree more. It's a common photo, often attributed to Derek Barnett, and rightfully so. Next up, this one's just a standard. You can insert this little Photoshop. Beautifully done, by the way. Way to be there, MC. Clowny Roseman, maybe? Dare I? Why not I? That pretty much sums it up as well. But this clown has found out a way to get yet another 3-year contract from the Philadelphia Eagles front office. This one just makes me laugh. Like, it makes me think of The Office a little bit when Nard Dog couldn't get his eyes washed out. This was well after Michael Scott left the company. But Nick kind of nailed this one right here, just washing your eyes out with Clorox. Even though this is real, he'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. This one is a blast from the past, and I know that's not a pun, but Medieval Baby Cardinal, I don't know what you would call this, but I just love it. And this is from Mad Dog 2020. Great name. My wife and I basically got married because of Mad Dog. Why, though? I don't know why this makes me laugh so damn hard, but it makes me laugh pretty damn hard every time I see it. Why would you sign Derek Barnett? Well, again, for a couple of right now, he's a depth guy. I thought Jeff McClain of the Inquirer made a great point. They didn't really release the money. They didn't release the money that was attached to the Derek Barnett deal. And why is that? Because he got nothing. He got pennies. That's what he got. And I wouldn't be so surprised. I wouldn't be so sure if the Eagles kind of let them know this is the deal for Derek Barnett. Like, I don't think that, like I said earlier, the Eagles didn't jump at the opportunity to re-sign Derek Barnett. They had a lot of time to do this. They didn't jump at the opportunity to do it. They didn't bring it back when they brought other guys back, when they reworked other deals like Fletcher Cox, for instance. So I wouldn't be surprised if the agent saw the money that the Eagles were interested in bringing Derek Barnett back and said, look, this is the deal. Go and seek another offer, but this is what we want to do. They looked around the league, couldn't really find anything else, and like, oh, well, I guess we'll just stay in Philadelphia. That could have been what happened here. There could have been a trade scenario, because I think Derek Barnett's still on the restricted list. It could have been a trade scenario. It was not. So they decided, all right, well, he's back. You can always have an opportunity, even if you're a guy like Clay Harper, for instance, who we talked to earlier in the week. He talked about trying to find a deal elsewhere. You can always do that. Your agent can always poke around if you can get released, if you can get traded, whatever the deal might be. Your agent can always poke around no matter what. But Derek Barnett, I believe, was actually unrestricted at this time. So we looked at that. I looked at that idea. And the fact that the Eagles did not release the money and the agent didn't release the money either, let you know he kind of got pennies on the dollar there. This one, staying in the theme of this baby, let's jump to another one. And this is the one that just made me think Eagles fans never change. Amy, but very pregnant, already a great name. When she saw this news, once again, her response was, my baby due tomorrow, which is today, just crawled further into my body. Thanks for that. Greatest thing I read on the internet ever. That is phenomenal. And when I tell people Eagles fans have no chill, I will show them that tweet. I will screen grab the Derek Barnett photo of him being re-signed, and I will screen grab the photo of Amy's tweet, and I would say, this is what we mean. A first-round pick that jumped on a loose ball forced by Brandon Graham that helped the Eagles secure their only Super Bowl. This is the guy that helped put the icing on the cake of that play. A couple of years later, we got babies not voluntarily being born simply because the Eagles brought this guy back on a 2-year deal. No chill in Philadelphia. God, I love this city, and God, I love this fan base. Now, the response to that, you might think, oh, come on, that's a little too much, right? No, very next comment. At least your baby won't be called for jumping off sides. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do it. That is a thing of beauty. Never, ever change for anybody. Philadelphia, please stay the same no matter what. You're all beautiful, wonderful people, and I'm happy to be a part of it. You guys are just fantastic. Amy, by the way, thank you. I saw that you retweeted the fact that I quote tweeted your tweet. I very much appreciate that. It was a thing of brilliance, basically. A thing of brilliance. Please let me know how you guys feel about Derek Barnett possibly coming back. And then also hit me up. If you're not listening to the live show, I want to know your theory on this as well. Are you like me in that the Eagles are moving right along to the trajectory, like their trajectory, this is an easy word to say, that their trajectory is more and more towards a quarterback than it ever has been. Everything is set up to that. And probably the most damning piece of evidence is the 3-year deal for Howie Roseman. Why a 3-year deal? Well, that's how you judge a draft. And this draft class, aside from just being 3 first-round picks, leads me to believe, with the other actions they have or really haven't made so far this year, leads me to believe it's going to be a big, big year for Howie. And what's the big, big year for any general manager? The year you draft a quarterback. And this ultimately will be the end-all, be-all, I think, of Howie Roseman's career, how he does with this draft. Because, man, you go into it with some great assets that give Howie credit he acquired, but you don't hit on these, adios, amigo. That's the end of it. But the fact that it'll still be another 3 years is wild to me. Flat out bonkers to me. So when you add it all up, I think it comes out to quarterback. It's not what I want them to do. That's my prediction. Oh, wow. Derek Barnett and Haason Reddick. That's all they needed to get back to being a Super Bowl contender. Nope. There's another deal coming, and it's going to be big. Even if it's Devontae Parker, it's not going to be that one. It's going to be a deal to make their quarterback look a lot better and give Howie more justification for a 3 years. Oh, yeah, it takes time to draft and to develop a guy. All right, better be right. Better be right. Let me tell you about the great people of Rothman Orthopedics before we jump into our chat check. Rothman Orthopedics, hey, maybe your knee gave out. Maybe you tweaked your back. Maybe you popped your shoulder. Maybe your shoulder no longer does what it should do. Well, I told you about my shoulder. People of Rothman Orthopedics got me back to being me, and they can get you back to being you. The Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you. Back to running, back to working, back to walking, back to playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people of WinView? WinView, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends or family members who think they know everything about sports, play them in a WinView contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. You want to break up the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers? Play a quarter of basketball, over, under in the quarter, whatever it might be. Challenge a friend or family member and win some real money prizes on making predictions of the games that you love so much. WinView, it's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans and win some cash on making predictions on the games that you love so much. Download the WinView app right now. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Before we jump into the chat check, 2 more orders of business here. Last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, Phillies only played a brief game because it got rained out. I brought up this conversation last year at spring training, and I'll bring it up again. When do we worry? I know it's spring training, and I know every time a pitcher gives up bombs, like Aaron Nola has been giving up bombs in spring training so far. When do we hit the worry button? It's not till like when the season starts, right? It's not till like maybe 2 starts. No. Philadelphia's more reactionary like that. I mean, after all, we got babies crawling back inside the mother because Derek Barnett got signed. So we're inherently reactionary. Yes, I am concerned about Aaron Nola. I don't care that it's spring. The fact that this has happened, it only compounds my concern. I was already concerned about Aaron Nola. Watching the year he couldn't put together last year, oh my goodness. If you're looking at Aaron Nola this spring and you're going, okay, now I'm concerned. I'm like, now? What about the inconsistency of his entire career? And I love Aaron Nola. I've been banging the drum for Aaron Nola for years. I love the guy, all that stuff. But I got to call it as I see it. Last year was a struggle. And now spring training, I see him struggle. Let's put it this way. Watching him in spring training hasn't made me go, oh, he's definitely going to have a terrible year. But it hasn't made me feel like, oh, wow, he's ready to go. He's locked in already. Like, not that I was expecting that, but it'd be nice to have. If you're watching the spring training again and you're going, oh, I'm kind of concerned. I'm thinking, what took you so long? I've already been concerned about Aaron Nola. Welcome to the party, pal. The fact that he's given up 440-foot home runs in spring training really doesn't help. If he was really popping the mitt and hitting 95, 96, 97 miles per hour, dead accuracy, getting hitters off balance, then I'd be like, oh, wow, he looks like he's locked in. I feel better. Like, I wouldn't feel like because of spring training, he's going to go out there and win a Cy Young Award. I'd feel a lot better if last year was a lot better than what it was. But I kept on waiting last year for that stretch that Aaron Nola seems to have almost every year where he goes a month of giving you 6, 7 innings with allowing 2 runs or less in for a month's time. And that just never happened. It never clicked for Aaron Nola. How many times did we say last year, Aaron Nola didn't have his best stuff, but he battled through 4 innings of work? Yee! No, thank you. Not for a guy that's supposed to be an ace on the staff. And I know that was Zack Wheeler last year, and thank goodness that we had Zack Wheeler to watch last year. Thank goodness that we even had him to help get the Phillies even a somewhat playoff contention when it came to the wild card last year. Certainly not the division with 6 games out of first place in the division as things rounded out, and you had the World Series champion in the division, as we all know. But, man, if you're looking at Aaron Nola in spring and you're going, oh, man, I'm concerned about Aaron Nola, I'm like, well, yeah, okay. We've been here in the concerned party for Aaron Nola. We've been part of the search party for Aaron Nola Cy Young Award candidate for 2 years now. And just in the spring, you're jumping in? Grab a flashlight and an orange vest, folks. We're going out in the forest looking for Aaron Nola's stuff. because it's not just spring training it's been missing. Other than that, Rhys Hoskins hit a home run. That was kind of cool. Rhys been hitting the ball pretty well. 2 days ago had a 2 for 3 day, and then yesterday hit a dinger. So that's nice. Anyway, let's jump into the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Chat check. See what you guys have going on today. April, good morning. John Cheeseborough, good morning. What's going on? Kevin, hello. Dante, what's going on? Mally, April, John, Mally, Kevin. What's going on down the list? These late starts equal Sealski touching stuff. All right, Sealski is in San Antonio. And if you guys didn't see this, I forget who. Mike retweeted it. But during the Villanova game, which is what Sealski's covering, a player went into the media bench and apparently broke something, and a couple of cheerleaders went over to fix it. And I'm like, Sealski can't get up and fix a damn table? The man's a father of 2. You got to know how to fix stuff. Anyway, thought that would give you guys some fodder. What's going on? Kevin, Mac, what's going on? Lego? What are we Legoing? What's happening? Falconator, what's going on? Nice to have you. Had to make an O and A reference to say good morning. I missed it. Oh, is that Opie and Anthony? All right. Jimmy Kempsky wrote yesterday, Barnett's back, paraphrasing, just as a backup. Yeah. I still think the Eagles will go out there and get a defensive player. They have to get a defensive player. Their defense very much needs it. But like I said, Derek Barnett will be more of a depth guy than anything anyway. But it's not a good look for the franchise. Let's put it that way. Not a good look for the franchise. John Cheeseborough, good morning. I mega loathe those 10:30 start times for the Sixers. Pretty much any sport that we got to wait, like, oh, God, it's terrible. It really is terrible. I did really love, though, traveling for Sunday Night Football and being out on the West Coast for a Sunday night game, and the game kicked off at like 5:30. That was the best, because then after the game, you could go out. Like if I was in San Francisco, I'd go downtown, and they're like, they have like Chinatown, Japantown, as they call it, Little Italy. They have the Fisherman's Wharf, which is a total tourist attraction, but it's worth a walk around, see the seals. But it was like you go out on the town after the game. Love that. San Diego. Oh, my God, I miss San Diego. Chargers leaving there was a travesty. But that's the only time I've ever liked a West Coast start time. Only time. Houston's pretty solid. It's going to be a good game. April, couldn't agree more. Villanova's got their work cut out for him in that one. That's going to be a tough one. And what's that kid's name? Kyler Edwards. Kyler Edwards was bombing from 3 against Arizona. So hopefully he won't keep that up against the Wildcats on Saturday, tomorrow. Mike Casey, Derek Barnett, great. I feel that. Falconator, 10:30 tip-off is 7:30 out here in California. That's late for a game out here. Oh, Falconator, you're in California? Good for you, man. Wow, you're up at a crazy hour, or just going to bed. Mike Casey, Barrettisms, Barnettisms, excuse me. 10:30 start time should be illegal, according to Mike. I hate a 10:30 start. I mean, really, I'm not the guy to yell at clouds. I'm a night owl anyway. I hate going to bed. I've always hated going to bed. But when it comes to something I really got to pay attention to, oh, man, that's really bad for me. John Cheeseborough is going to grant the wishes of everyone and give Derek Barnettisms. Derek Barnett's problem is people have figured out the one thing he's terrible at, and that one thing is football. That's very good. Mike Fuji, what's going on, Mike? What's going on? Derek Barnett adds much to this team as John Cheeseborough. Derek Barnett adds as much to this team as an earring would on a giraffe. I like that. That's better than the typical earrings on a pig or lipstick on a pig. That's a lot better because you're not even going to see it up there with the giraffe. I get it. I like it. Derek Barnett is useful as trying to use an Atari controller on a PS4. Keep them coming, baby. Keep them coming. Falconator. This is just going to be a lot of John, I think, and a lot of Falconator for today's show in the comments. Falconator is now saying, I want to get out of the comedic flow of John Cheeseborough's chat comments. with his Barnett isms. Judge, I feel like 2023 is going to be their target for a quarterback. I don't think they'll take one this year if they're planning to flip a first rounder for next year. John, I hope you're right. And quite frankly, that's what I want them to do. I hope that's what they do. I just feel like this year is going to it's got bigger implications now that they have done the bare minimum and given Howie the extension. Like, I just feel like they wouldn't do that unless they were really locked in on a couple of quarterbacks. Does anyone think that they bring Barnett back and have anything to do with losing Girardi Avery? Depth. That absolutely, I think, has to do with depth. Girardi Avery was more in a role that I think they're going to use Haason Reddick for than anything. I don't think Derek Barnett played that role. Derek Barnett played with his hand in the dirt. Girardi Avery, you would actually see as an outside linebacker standing up in that position. So it could just for depth purposes, but I think Haason Reddick is going to be the guy to take over the Girardi Avery role. And when I say the Girardi Avery role, I mean somebody that's going to be great. Not, he made a play. Like, it's not going to be like that. That's how I see it. I think Derek Barnett will go more so into the Ryan Kerrigan role. Let's put it that way. Than anything else. With his hand in the dirt more. Let's put it that way. John Cheeseborough, the hope is that Graham comes back healthy and makes Barnett even more useless. Pretty much. Malley, Barnett has more penalties than sacks in his NFL career. That's crazy for a D end. You're not at all off. I agree with you. John Cheeseborough saying he agrees with Jimmy Kempski. I think Barnett is signing more to do with making sure he had somebody in case the draft plans fell through. It's depth. That's all it is. So many flags, says April. Jim Grassmeter, what's up, buddy? Happy Friday to you as well. So Barnett gets another contract for having more penalties and tackles and sacks combined. Makes sense. None of us can make sense of this. Like, nobody, like the entire Eagles offseason, you bring in Haason Reddick, and then you look around and you go, okay, yeah, let's just run it back with everything we got. Like, I love that phrase, run it back, getting used as many times as it does now. But that's what the Eagles have done, which only makes me think they can't be that stupid. And I know everyone's response to that is, yes, they can. But there's got to be a splash in here somewhere. And I think it goes beyond just like, they might not have to move up for a quarterback. That's the thing. They might be able to get a defensive lineman standing pat at 15, 16, or 19, and then still get a quarterback. Like, the draft is that deep with defensive that deep with defensive talent where that could very well happen. Getting a quarterback, though, in the first round, we all know what that means. Just like we all knew what that meant when they brought in Jalen Hurts, even though that was a second-round quarterback. Bringing in a young quarterback with a second-round pick when you already had Carson Wentz and locked up that deal was dumb. But they brought in somebody they thought, okay, well, we'll have a good backup for a couple of years. And then if he actually gets a chance to play, it shows he can play, we can flip him for maybe even a first-round pick, which I doubt, or more second-round picks or a third-round pick, whatever it might be. To me, it just seems stupid. But that's the direction that they went. John, this is one of your best ones. I'm as happy with the Eagles signing Derek Barnett as I am with my stomach bubbling just as I walk out the door. We've all been there. Charlie, good morning. Cecil and Charlie find that comment very funny, and rightfully so, because it is. Mullet, what's up, Mullet? Seriously, a guy who broke Reggie White's record in college. That was the worst stat possibly in the history of any stat ever brought up in the history of any NFL draft ever. The fact that Reggie White played like 30 seconds in college and Derek Barnett had a full career at Tennessee, the fact that they even brought it up, that he broke Reggie White's sack record, is atrocious. Absolutely 1,000 bazillion percent atrocious. You're comparing apples to rattlesnakes. Like, not even in the same friggin' vicinity. Well, he broke Reggie White's sack record. Did he? Please. John Cheeseborough off the top rope. Yes, John, I found out the same heartbreaking thing that Mad Dog 2020 does not stand for MD 2020 doesn't stand for Mad Dog. Yeah, I forget, Michael Daniels or something, whoever the guy that made it. I didn't know what Mad Dog was. I didn't know what the MD 2020 was until I started dating my wife. She's all class, folks. And she was like, no, you got to have the Mad Dog. And like literally handed it to me in a brown paper bag. And I was like, this is love, baby. This is love. Yes, that's how she seduced me. Derek Barnett gets another contract for having more penalties. Got to that one. Mullet, hello again. John, hello again. April. The tweet about the baby cracked me up last night. April, the tweet about the baby was just fantastic. Like, that's the most Philadelphia tweet I could think of. And when I saw that, I was like, this lady deserves a quote tweet. Oh, you watched some of the Villanova game at work yesterday, or the April? Did you watch the Arizona game? Mac, what's going on? I might actually send this to Mike because it's so funny. John Cheesebro, Sealski's an awful person just because. That's it. That's the comment. Cody, what's going on? Oh, Charlie Emanuel's happy. It's hitting season. You know Charlie's happy. Absolutely. Ronald, what's going on? Fuji, Mark, you're on point as far as the Eagles drafting a quarterback. Like, dude, aren't you getting that feeling? That's where I'm headed. And it's almost like more. It almost makes you feel like that more so because Haason Reddick was acquired. Like, Haason Reddick is going to be one of the best edge rushers in the NFL next year. That's how I feel about it. If the Eagles don't get or are planning not to get one of the defensive ends, one of the defensive linemen in the draft, then they've kind of already hedged their bets with Haason Reddick already being, well, you know, we needed to bolster the defense. We didn't want to do that through the draft. We could have, but we brought in Haason Reddick in case things didn't work out. We're going to go get a quarterback now. Like, that's kind of, oh, we want the Eagles to improve. Thank God they got those three first-round picks. We've already improved defensively by bringing in Haason Reddick. We're going to use 2 of those 3 first-round picks to go get a quarterback. Okay. Now I'm nervous. But Fuji, good morning. Kevin, Sealski doing nothing but getting killed every day here. Kevin, that's what happens. If that baby sees Jake Arrieta dusting off his hoagie huggers again, it might need to be served an eviction notice. Apparently your show is so good that I have to wake up early to watch it. Either that or I have a horrible sleep schedule. Falconator, are you a bartender by chance? Let's go with the idea that you think my show is so good. That'll help me sleep at night. Let's put it that way. By the way, just a aside, thanks for all the subs, everybody. We bumped up. I feel like we just hit 2,000 subs 2 weeks ago, and we're already at 2,200. So thanks, y'all. Appreciate that. Ben Verlander's interview did a really good job, despite me calling him Ben Revere for the first half of the show. Apparently, appreciate that. April, what's going on? Why not both? April, good job. For me, April, I appreciate that. Cecil, what's going on? Both. That's very nice of you. Mark, what's going on? Cody, yeah, right? I thank you. 10% more already. I was told there'd be no math. You guys are just very kind. That's very nice. This is great. When's the last time, Kevin? When is the last time somebody actually flirted with Deshaun? That is great. Now, I don't know if you guys saw it, but so he wasn't brought up on charges, and now he's not brought up in charges again in another county. So legally speaking, he did nothing wrong. But man, 22 ladies still, that's what? I don't even want to speculate on anything. But 22 women having a big issue, that's still fishy, little fishy. Yeah, a little fishy. It goes along the lines of you still feel like something wrong happened 22 times, but legally can't prove it. It's the world we live in. Watson stuff didn't go anywhere on either side. That's correct. When's the last time somebody flirted with? Yeah. He's got a girlfriend that stayed by his side and made public appearances with him. It's a wild, wild thing. Pete, how did Verlander's interview compare with the sex symbol Tom Moore? It didn't. I mean, he really, Verlander just crushed it. In more ways than one, I thank you. When did Washington call KC? I don't know. If the Sixers make a deep playoff run, Farzi's going to be 89% beard, 11% face. I just trimmed the beard today. I'm doing Fox later today, folks. So more is bonus me later on. So had to look TV presentable as opposed to digital media presentable. Very interested in an actual situation. Fear the beard. New warning. New meaning. Fear the beard. I used to be Ronald used to be a prosecutor. Okay. That's pretty cool. Oh, okay. Ronald says, very interesting that 2 women filed charges and didn't sue. Obviously is not conclusive. Okay. Seems like teams don't have a franchise quarterback. Yeah. There you go. That's everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys. You guys are fantastic. Cody, Farzy got seduced. I did. I got seduced. That happened. Appreciate you guys. You guys are fantastic. Did I get everybody? All right, you guys are great. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. 76ers, Clippers. Clippers are 36-38 on the season. One of their wins, once again, does come against the Sixers from a game back on January 21st, where they took on the Sixers in South Philadelphia. No Kawhi Leonard, no Paul George. Clippers still won that game 102-101. Joel Embiid took them to 40 points that game. Sixers need to keep on building here. Just keep on building. That's what I want to see from the 76ers as time goes on. What we have seen from them as of late, Tyrese Maxey stepping up. Now, here's the big deal. I feel like many times we have said since James Harden's been acquired, oh, you just get 15 points from Tobias Harris, you're good to go. You get some decent bench play, you're good to go. The game they just played against the LA Lakers, granted there was no LeBron James, is the game that the Sixers, they play that way. They get that type of production where they get 4 of their top 4 players scoring 20 points or more. Yeah, that's going to be a nice run for the Sixers. And on top of that, get a big night off the bench from Furkan Korkmaz, George Niang, Shake Milton got you some points as well. DeAndre Jordan got you some points. You play like that, you're going to have a deep playoff run. You play like that, you're guaranteed, hear me, guaranteed to at least make it to a conference final. You play like that, you're probably making it to the NBA Finals. I don't think that's the normal. I don't think that's the new normal for the 76ers. As much as I want it to be, I don't think it's the new normal. I'd like it to be. I'm rooting for it to be. I just don't see it. I don't see the Sixers being 126-point-a-night type of team, unfortunately. But what I do wanted to get, what I did when I thought I got the screen grab of this again, I did not. But I did want to go over the standings one more time with the Sixers idle last night. Sixers still a game and a half out of first place. Bucks played last night and they won last night. The Heat were idle, so they pick up a half game on the Miami Heat. Bucks, it goes Heat, Bucks, Sixers, Celtics, Bulls all the way downtown. Bulls 5 games out of first place. That's how it looks right now. And as you guys saw, Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving, full slate. Can play at home now. The vaccine mandates in New York have been lifted for entertainers and athletes. The mayor of New York City made the announcement at a professional sports arena. He made the announcement at Citi Field. I don't know what they're doing in New York, but none of it makes sense. I am just disappointed, just from a sports standpoint, that the Nets are going to be a better team more often than they were going to be a worse team with Kyrie Irving now being able to play a full slate of games as the season winds down. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets are in the 8th seed. They are 9 games out of first place. So that's what they're looking at right now. Still playing worthy, but that's where they're at right now, and they're only going to get better now that Kyrie is going to be playing in more games. That's where they're at right now, and that's where the Sixers are at. Sixers 3rd place right now, tied with the Boston Celtics, both a game and a half out of first place. Hopefully the Sixers are able to improve upon that tonight when they take on the Clippers at 10:30. Also, Flyers, they won a road game last night for the first time since last year. They hadn't won since December 29th on the road. They took care of business in St. Louis against the Blues last night with a 5-2 victory. You finally got rid of that Claude Giroux guy, who, by the way, only was on the ice for the first shift with his new team, the Florida Panthers, last night, and only had an assist in the first 10 seconds of his Florida Panthers career. He went on to have 2 assists in that game. Congrats to Claude for being able to do that, and I'm hoping he wins the Stanley Cup, as I think we all do, with the Florida Panthers, being that the Flyers are so far removed. And by the way, if you were hoping that Claude Giroux would come back, and I still think that's a very legit possibility, this thought popped in my brain. If you're Claude Giroux and you were going to come back to Philadelphia, wouldn't you want to give them the best return on a trade as possible? Like, being that you're only going to be joining up, like, wow, I can make this team a lot better by opening up my trade list. So it's another feather in the cap of the people that don't think he's going to come back. Because if he did want to come back, and there was a legit chance of him coming back, I can use me to trade away, get the best haul. I'm only going to be joining up with whatever haul you get back anyway in free agency. That would make sense, right? That thought popped in my brain while I was watching some highlights of the Florida Panthers last night. But Claude Giroux had 2 assists in the game. He helped get the first goal of the game for the Florida Panthers. 2 assists for good for him. So that was good for the Florida Panthers and good for the Flyers for winning 5-2 last night. Just want better hockey as the season winds down. Just give me better hockey. That's all I'm asking for. Nova back in action tomorrow night, so you guys can enjoy that tip-off. 6:09 on TBS. Nova takes on Houston. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great to catch up with as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Jim Hyder produced the show, did a phenomenal job as per usual. It's the Farzy Show live from the Steven Singer studio every day, weekdays 6 to 7 a.m. And, of course, we are presented by Destination Retirement and DestinationRetirement.com. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. And, oh my goodness, how did I forget this? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go Peacocks. Tipping off in South Philadelphia tonight. Help! 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 That's Peacock. I may or may not be doing that impression on Fox today. 7:45. See you guys then. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you on Monday. See ya.